Henna Virkkunen, the European Commission's Executive Vice President for Technological Sovereignty, Security and Democracy. I will first give the floor to Minister Rauna, who will take you through the main points that were discussed at this morning's Council meeting. Minister Rauna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for joining us for the first General Affairs Council under the Cyprus presidency, and many thanks to Executive Vice President Virkkunen for your participation in today's meeting. Let me begin by expressing deepest condolences to the families of the victims of the tragic train accident in Cordoba, Spain, and express our full solidarity with Spain and its people. This morning at the General Affairs Council, I had the opportunity to present the priorities of the Cyprus presidency within the framework of the General Affairs Council. Cyprus assumes the presidency at a defining moment for the European Union. Against the backdrop of geopolitical and geo-economic shifts, our vision is clear: a more autonomous union open to the world. We view European autonomy as the next necessary step in our European integration project and a necessity in the current environment. The Cyprus presidency will work to advance the European Union's strategic autonomy and strengthen its global role with a clear focus on security and defence readiness in a 360-degree manner, competitiveness, expanding our network of partnerships and social cohesion. Within the General Affairs Council, the multi-annual financial framework will be a top priority. Our objective is to pave the way for timely and successful negotiations, deliver a balanced, mature negotiating box with indicative figures by the end of our presidency, with the aim of reaching a conclusion by the end of 2026. A strong union also rests on unwavering respect and upholding for the rule of law. We will continue to build on existing instruments, including the annual rule of law cycle and the Article 7 procedure. This applies to our dialogue on simplification and better regulation, which is the second point I wish to make. And here we will build on our work with the trio partners. During our presidency, we will also work to advance the democratic package with the aim of reinforcing democratic values and strengthening resilience. Enlargement will be a central priority of the Cyprus presidency. It is the European Union's most powerful geopolitical instrument and a strategic investment for our Union. The Cyprus presidency is committed to a credible, ambitious and results-oriented enlargement process based on strict and fair conditionality, the principles of own merits and reversibility, with a strong focus on the fundamentals. Simplification will be high on our agenda as an indispensable tool of strengthening EU competitiveness and will also be the focus of the February European Council. We will advance the omnibus packages and related initiatives in order to achieve a more efficient and proportionate regulation without lowering standards or weakening policy ambition. And we will also work on strengthening cooperation with close non-EU European partners, the EFTA countries, as well as Andorra, San Marino, Monaco and the Faroe Islands. And we will also advance work with a commitment to build on the renewed momentum on EU-UK relations, focusing on the implementation and practical cooperation in support to trade, people-to-people ties, and paving the way to a second summit. In relation to our meeting today, let me start with this morning's exchange in which we invited Mr. Bernd Lange, Chair of the European Parliament's Conference of President Chairs. 3 points on my part on this. Firstly, the exchange this morning on simplification reflects our overarching commitment as Cyprus presidency to pursue a robust, constructive and productive interinstitutional cooperation. The European Parliament is our co-legislator and our partner, and the Cyprus presidency will conduct itself in full respect of institutional propriety. This applies, as I've said, also to our dialogue and simplification on better regulation, where we build on the important work carried out by our trio partners, ensuring continuity. For the exchange, it was evident during the working breakfast with the European Parliament that achieving real and lasting results is a shared responsibility that requires active engagement from both institutions. During our meeting, we also held country-specific discussions in the framework of the annual Rule of Law Dialogue. This is a vital and well-established exercise that enables open and constructive exchanges and the sharing of best practices. Today, we focus on Estonia, Denmark, Greece, and Spain, and I'm pleased to report that the exchange was smooth, substantive, and constructive. This exercise will continue in May under the Cyprus presidency with France, Croatia, Italy, and Latvia. And finally, we discussed we had an exchange of views on the European Democracy Shield, which aims to strengthen democratic resilience throughout our Union. Together with the EU strategy for civil society, it forms part of the democracy package presented by the Commission last November. We will continue our discussions on this very important and pertinent topic, including on the Commission's intention to set up a European Centre for Democratic Resilience, and we will be continuing this at the next General Affairs Council in February. And finally, I'm pleased to announce that later today we will hold the first intergovernmental conference of our presidency with the provisional closure of Chapter 32 for Montenegro, bringing the number of chapters that we will be closing for this candidate country to 13 negotiating chapters. Allow me to conclude by saying that we approach the months ahead with determination and a clear sense of purpose to work with all our partners to deliver results for a stronger, more autonomous Union open to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Executive Vice President Verkunen, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Minister Rauna, dear Marilena. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to begin by thanking the Cypriot presidency for placing the rule of law and democracy so high on its agenda. We all know that this is a very key element for the full participation of all Europeans in our shared society. Today's General Affairs Council provided the forum for very important and constructive discussions on the rule of law situation across our 4 member states and on Europe's democratic strength and resilience. Together, democracy and rule of law, they provide the fundamental safeguards for justice, fundamental rights and equality across all our member states. These are values that all member states have committed to and which the Commission is committed to promoting, protecting and upholding. As our Union is facing increasing political polarisation, pressure of democratic institutions, challenges to our economic and also growing external threats, protecting and promoting the rule of law matters more than ever. Today we held a further set country-specific discussions on the rule of law situation in our 4 member states, Denmark, Estonia, Greece and Spain, and we also held a discussion on the European Democracy Shield adopted in November last year. The Commission presented the findings of 2025 rule of law for these 4 member states, welcoming progress made while highlighting areas where further efforts are needed. We also held a discussion on the European Democracy Shield adopted in November last year. At a time of geopolitical volatility and digital disruption, our European democracies are facing evolving challenges. The European Democracy Shield is about promoting and protecting democracy across our Union by making sure Europe's tools and actors work together effectively in defending against these increasing threats. The flagship action under the Shield is the new European Centre for Democratic Resilience, and this centre will be a voluntary hub of cooperation that brings together the capacities of EU and its member states to detect, deter and respond to threats, in particular foreign information manipulation, interference and disinformation. The European Democracy Shield itself rests on 3 pillars: safeguarding our information space, strengthening democratic institutions and boosting societal resilience. Firstly, we will safeguard the integrity of the information space, and we have already begun work on one concrete action under this pillar, the Digital Services Act Incidents and Crisis Protocol, to prevent and manage major threats in the information space. Secondly, we will also invest in the integrity of our electoral processes, and here we know that elections, they are competence of the member states, but we are strengthening cooperation with member states under the European Cooperation Network on Elections to support their efforts in ensuring free and fair elections. And thirdly, we will defend and strengthen Europe's media ecosystem. We know that independent media is very much under pressure economically, crowded by algorithms and disinformation, and also generative AI is adding more to this challenge. Work on the evaluation and revision of the Audiovisual Media Services Directive is also ongoing, as are the preparations for the Media Resilience Programme. And we will also deepen citizens' engagement. Here we have, for instance, started to set up a dedicated network with member states on citizens' participation. Online platforms are playing a very important role in nowadays democratic activities and democratic environment. That's why I would like to also take this opportunity and inform you another step the Commission has done today to protect European citizens. Today the Commission launched a new formal investigation against X under the Digital Services Act concerning the deployment of Croc's functionalities on the platform, and parallel extended the scope of the ongoing investigation launched already in December 2023 into X compliance with its recommender system's risk management obligations. This new investigation will evaluate whether the company has properly assessed and mitigated risk related to Croc as integrated to X. And this includes risks linked to the dissemination of illegal content, negative effects of gender-based violence, and serious negative consequences to the physical and mental well-being of citizens, including children, in the EU. These proceedings are the outcome of the Commission's preliminary analysis. We have also made another decision today. The European Commission has formally designated WatchUp as a very large online platform, VLOP, under the DSA, as its channel feature reaches the designation threshold of at least 45 million users in the EU. As we know, WatchUp is a hybrid service comprising features of private messaging and also an online platform. So these WatchUp channels, the feature of WatchUp that allows recipients to disseminate information, updates and announcements to a broad audience of WhatsApp users, falls under the definition of an online platform service, and it's therefore already subject to general DSA obligations that online platforms in the EU must respect. WhatsApp's private messaging service remains excluded from the application of DSA.
Thank you, Commissioner. We will now take your questions. Please remember to state your name and the organization you represent. Let's start from the front of the room. Magnus.
Thank you, Magnus, with Euractiv. Commissioner, this is for you. There has been some criticism of the Democracy Shield package that you name-checked before from the Parliament side of things, who parliamentarians, EU lawmakers, who say that it's simply too weak and it lacks the bite that would be needed to combat disinformation in the information sphere in the EU. Do you intend to strengthen what you've already proposed, or and how do you take these criticisms down in general? Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is, of course, now the proposal from the Commission side, and of course we are now open also to add new elements if needed from the Council side, from the Parliament side. Of course, different ideas are welcomed, but we are very much focusing here really to safeguard our information space, also protect free and fair elections, and also building up the resilience of our societies. And of course, media, free independent media is also playing a key role here. So there is now different aspects we are working on, and it's crucial that we are really pooling our expertise and actions together with our member states. So we are not planning to create overlapping structures, but really look what we are already doing and how we can also work more effectively together in these fields.
Thank you. Irini, please.
A question in Greek, if I may.
In Greek.
In Greek.
Υπουργέ, θα ήθελα να ρωτήσω πώς υποδέχτηκαν τις προτεραιότητες της Προεδρίας και στην συνάντησή σας με τον κύριο Λάγκε, άμα συζητήσατε και για το πάγωμα των νομοθετικών διαδικασιών που αποφάσισε η ίντα, της οποίας προεδρεύει, για τη συμφωνία Turnberry της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης, μεταξύ Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ για την ερώτηση. Όπως προανέφερα, η συζήτηση, το απόγευμα εργασίας με τον κύριο Λάγκε επικεντρώθηκε ακριβώς στα πακέτα απλοποίησης, στα Omnibus Packages, πώς ακριβώς θα τα προωθήσουμε και εντός Συμβουλίου, αλλά απαραίτητο συστατικό στοιχείο για να έχουμε πρόοδο είναι η συνεργασία μεταξύ Συμβουλίου και Ευρωπαϊκού Κοινοβουλίου. Συζητήσαμε συγκεκριμένα για όλα τα πακέτα που βρίσκονται ενώπιόν μας. Συμφωνήσαμε ότι η συνεργασία θα είναι συνεχής με το Ευρωπαϊκό Κοινοβούλιο και εδώ σε αυτό το σημείο περιορίστηκε και η συζήτηση. Όσον αφορά τις προτεραιότητες της Κυπριακής Προεδρίας και ειδικότερα την έμφαση στην ενίσχυση της στρατηγικής αυτονομίας της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και για μια Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση ανοιχτή στον κόσμο. Αυτό που υπογράμμισαν όλοι είναι ότι υπό το φως των εξελίξεων που είχαμε το τελευταίο διάστημα, υπό το φως και της συζήτησης που είχαν οι ηγέτες στο πιο πρόσφατο Ευρωπαϊκό Συμβούλιο, πράγματι η στρατηγική αυτονομία της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης είναι το επόμενο βήμα στην ευρωπαϊκή ολοκλήρωση. Αυτό στο οποίο πρέπει να παραμείνουμε προσιλωμένοι, και αυτό ήταν και το αποτέλεσμα της συζήτησης στο Ευρωπαϊκό Συμβούλιο, είναι ότι το πιο δυνατό μας στοιχείο είναι η ενότητα της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης, η αποφασιστικότητα, η προσήλωση στις βασικές αρχές που προτάσει η Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση, την προστασία του διεθνούς δικαίου, της αδεφικής ακεραιότητας, της ανεξαρτησίας. Παραμένουμε προσιλωμένοι σε αυτές τις αρχές, τις προτάσουμε και την ίδια στιγμή παραμένουμε προσιλωμένοι και στο διάλογο με τις Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες Αμερικής, και εκεί που συμφωνούμε και εκεί που διαφωνούμε.
Ευχαριστώ. Let's go to Jorge.
Hello, Jorge Liboreiro with Euronews. You mentioned enlargement. It was discussed and it will be discussed in upcoming meetings. We know the issue is higher than ever on the agenda because of the peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. We know that Ukraine wants to have a fixed date for its accession in a potential peace deal, and this will require profound changes to the process of enlargement, of course. Was this particular issue discussed today? Did member states express support or reservations about it? And what are the next steps to make this reform happen on the Council and the Commission side? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jorge, for that question. What was raised in the discussions today was the Council's and the Presidency's strong support for Ukraine's accession process. This is something that was also discussed with President Zelensky when he was in Cyprus on the 7th of January, and there was also an exchange with the President of the European Council and the President on the Commission on the international efforts and on the peace efforts, which we stand ready to support. The objective of the Cyprus presidency is to accelerate the discussions with a view to swiftly advancing when the conditions allow. On the issue that you've mentioned, this was not an issue that was raised today. It's not an issue that has been discussed on the Council. What I can say that was reiterated is that enlargement is a merit-based process based on the progress achieved by the candidates. Ukraine, despite the fact that it has been facing Russian ongoing aggression, has been delivering impressive reforms under exceptionally difficult circumstances. The Cyprus presidency will continue supporting Ukraine on all fronts. We had at Coreper the discussion on the implementation of the December decision by the European Council on the 90 billion, and support will continue at all fronts.
Thank you. Alexandra.
Yes, Maria, thank you for the floor. A follow-up question, if I may, Minister. So I understand that a clear date under Kiev's request is not feasible at this moment. And when you say when conditions are met, you're clearly implying that Ukraine should meet the necessary preconditions, as it is also the case for all candidate member states. Thank you so much.
Look, the prosperity plan forms part of the work streams that are currently under discussion. What I have said is that discussions are ongoing. This issue has not yet come to the Council. What does continue is all the technical work, the negotiations, the front-loading on Ukraine's accession process, and this is what we are focusing on right now to progress on this front.
Thank you. I'm afraid we have to stop here because the Commissioner and the Minister are quite pressed. Thank you. We will have the conference after the Intergovernmental Conference with Montenegro. The Minister will be there to also answer to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.